This is a short story from Disney Finding Nemo. Nemo was a little clownfish who lived a quiet life with his dad, Marlin, on the Great Barrier Reef. Nemo longed for adventure, but Marlin worried about the dangers in the ocean. He barely let Nemo out of his sight. On the first day of school, Marlin overheard Nemo and his new friends daring each other to swim out over a steep cliff. "Come on, Nemo. How far can you go?" his friends shouted. Marlin panicked and said, "Nemo, you know you can't swim well." Nemo replied, "I can swim fine, Dad." "Okay." Nemo darted up toward a boat on a surface. As Nemo swam, a diver appeared behind him. The diver pulled out a net and caught Nemo. Then, he returned to his boat and sped off, accidentally knocking one of his masks overboard. Marlin chased after the boat, but it was too fast. Finding Nemo image source greater than www. Morgan Lewis. WordPress. .com. Marlin soon bumped into a blue tang fish named Dory who offered to help. "I've seen that boat and it went this way. Follow me," Dory said. When Marlin followed, Dory whirled around. Marlin started following Dory when suddenly Dory said, "Stop following me." "On this," Marlin said, "you promised me to show the way where that boat went." Dory looked surprised, then shook her head sadly and told him that she had been suffering from short-term memory loss. Figuring Dory couldn't help him, Marlin turned to leave and found himself face to face with a shark. The shark invited Dory and Marlin to a get-together in an old sunken ship. Inside the ship were two other sharks, and together they pledged, "Fish are friends, not food." As they spoke, Marlin looked up and saw the diver's mask. Dory noticed some writing on the scrap. It might be a clue to help them in finding Nemo. Marin and Dory quickly left the party carrying the mask. Miles away, Nemo had been taken to a dentist's office. A goofy gang of tropical fish lived there. The fish and their friends Nigel, a pelican, passed the time by watching the dentist work. That night, Nemo learned that he would be given to Darla, the dentist's niece. The tank gang warned him that Darla's fish never lived for very long. Their leader Gil took charge and said, "We're going to help him escape." Gil explained that if someone could jam the water filter, the dentist would take the fish out of the tank to clean it. When he put the fish in the plastic bags, they could escape by rolling out the window and into the harbor. But who would be brave enough to break the dangerous filter? Deep in the ocean, Dory and Marlin were in a dark canyon. Marlin struggled to hold on to the lighted antenna of a dangerous anglerfish so that Dory could read what was written on the mask. P. Sherman, 42, Wallaby Way, Sydney, she read. Marlin and Dory headed to Sydney. Suddenly, Dory bumped into a teeny-tiny jellyfish called Squishy, but she was not alone. Soon, they were surrounded by an entire forest of deadly jellyfish. The jellyfish stung Dory and Marlin too, making them feel weak and tired. As the ocean faded around him, the last thing Marlin saw was the shadow of a giant sea turtle. When Marlin woke up, he was lying on the sea turtle's shell. The turtle introduced himself, "Dude name's Crush." Finding Nemo image source greater than at www. Media. SCLD. Yorku. Ca. Marlin told Crush and his son, Squirt, the story of his search for Nemo. Squirt told a story to a lobster, the lobster told a dolphin, and soon the news spread all the way to Sydney, where Nigel, the pelican, heard it. Nigel sped off to the dentist's office to tell Nemo. Your dad's fighting the entire ocean looking for you. And the word is, he's headed this way right now to Sydney, said Nigel. Nemo was happy to hear that and realized if he was ever going to get home, he had to be brave. He took a deep breath and carefully jammed a pebble into the tank's filter, stopping its swirling blades. Soon, the tank would be so dirty, the dentist would have to clean it. But the next morning, the tank was still clean. The filter had been changed during the night, ruining their escape plan. Then, the dentist slipped the net into the water, capturing Nemo. The dentist started to hand Darla the bag, but then he saw Nemo inside, belly up. Nemo winked at his friends. He was only pretending to be dead. The gang cheered and shouted, He's going to get flushed down the toilet. He's going to get out of here. Outside Sydney, Marlin and Dory had met Nigel, who flew them straight to the dentist's office. The pelican soared inside with the 2 fish in his beak. Marlin saw Nemo floating upside down in the bag and he thought that his son was dead. Nigel returned to the harbor. He dropped Marlin and Dory into the water. Marlin swam out to sea, leaving Dory. He said, We were too late. I'm going home now. After Marlin left, Nemo swam out of a nearby pipe. He had been flushed. Nemo spotted Dory swimming in circles and introduced himself. Dory hugged him happily. Nemo and Dory searched for Marlin, spotting him in the nearby fishing grounds. Finally, they saw each other. As they swam towards each other, a big net dropped into the water and captured lots of fish, including Dory, but Nemo knew exactly what to do. Nemo said, Tell all the fish to swim down. Together, the fish swam down until the net broke. Everyone was free. Several weeks later, Nemo was back home and ready for school. This time, Marlin was ready too. He knew that his son could take care of himself. Nemo waved as he swam away. He swam back and hugged Marlin and said, Love you, Dad. Marlin smiled and said, Love you too, son. Now go. Have an adventure.